Now look, everybody knows that bench vices are freaking awesome, so I want to make one for myself. So I found myself a very old, rusty vice screw laying around in my house, and I don't have anything else to do with it, so that's gonna be a problem. But first, I derusted it, and now it's looking absolutely wonderful and very shiny and holy, and I love it. It's very nice. Just some quick passes with the wire brush wheel on the angle grinder. Absolutely fantastic. Now, we need to make ourselves a nut that goes onto this thing so that we can actually screw this thing in there and actually have a vice. Because that's how vices work. Now to make the nuts, I took a bunch of these rings, I gave them a good old cut right there and a good old bend right here, like that, and then we just screwed them onto the vice. Yeah, I took some with a smaller inner diameter, and we can put those in between the rings, and then the bigger diameter ones go on top of the rings, which is absolutely fantastic, and this works way better than I expected. But yeah, then we can give that a good old well, just like that. This is actually the first time I'm welding, so don't be angry with me because I will not do anything. And that's gonna be it. One done nut. Absolutely fantastic. Now obviously this is not a bench vice yet. Come on guys, we need to attach this to a bench and it needs to be able to clamp things because that's what vices do. Now, as for the attachment to the bench, I don't have a bench yet. I still need to make a good bench, and I don't have ways for a bench, but that's time for another. That's another story. Time later, not today. No. As for the attachment, however, I can already find a way to attach it to my future bench. So we're just gonna make two of these little blobs of wood, and I gotta drill a hole right through that middle of those two blobs, and then we can stick the nut in there. And the nut is in there now. Yes, you can see the nut in there. And then we just gotta clamp them two both together with some bolts, and we can also run those bolts through the future bench, and then everything will be attached to the bench. In theory. And here we go, it's totally done and it works absolutely beautifully. Now, as you can see, I did add a bunch of other things to it as well. For starters, I did add this lovely little piece of wood, and the screw is going right through there. Obviously, we do need to fixate this piece of wood to this end knob right here, which means that I've added two of these rings. This ring is just going to be able to rotate and stuff like that, but this ring is going to be welded onto the screw, and it's going to be holding this thing as close as possible to this end knob, which is absolutely fantastic. Now if I clamp something with this thing is gonna be moving like that. We don't want that to move like that, so I added two of these lovely little rods. I'll still need to do some finishing, cut off the ends and stuff like that. Either way, I did thread the ends and they're bolted in place. They're not going to be moving at all anymore, and they're going right through these two blobs of wood as well, and I will be adding some more blobs at the end as well to further fixate these rods and make it sure they do not move. Now let's say you're working on a few pieces of MDF right there and they're moving all around the place. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? No problems, I got you back, buddy. Just stick them in there, you tighten this thing up, and there you go. This thing ain't moving nowhere no more. Now, unfortunately, I will not be able to continue working on the vice in this video, and actually for quite a few years, because I do not have a bench yet and I don't have place for a bench, and I've already told you guys this story. Either way, if I still make videos in a few years, I will be able to make myself a bench, and I will be able to put the vice onto the bench, and it should be absolutely fantastic, and we can make this a two-part series. There is one thing I do want to still work on during this video, and that is It has to do actually with this lovely bit of steel. This is actually the piece of steel that you use to move the screw around, the vice screw around, and it has a stop ring on only one side. We want two stop rings. We want a stop ring on one side, we want it on the other side. We want to be able, we don't want this thing to fall out. That's not good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some round steel bar, and we're going to saw a tiny little piece off of there. I'm gonna hit that real hard with a hammer while it's hot, obviously while it's hot, and then it's gonna become flatter, but it's gonna become a little bit thicker, and then we can punch a hole right in the middle. We can stick this end in the hole, and then we'll hit this top part, we'll heat this top part up, and we'll hit that a few times, and then it's gonna fold around the stop ring that we've created essentially, and then we're just gonna hammer it a few times more to make it look nice and round, and we can get the angle grinder out to make this look nice and even, and it should be about done. Absolutely fantastic, and I will see you when this thing is totally done. And that was a whole lot more work than I expected it to be, and it also didn't turn out how I would have loved it to turn out. But that's okay. I think that's totally fine, because it looks alright. It's a bit smaller, it's a bit too small, but it's fine. It works. It totally works. And that's the most important thing for this build. Now, this was indeed part 1 of the bench vice build, I guess. And part 2 will be coming out in a few years when I can finally make a bench. That is, if I still make videos by then. I probably will.